Welcome to another episode of the First Flame Scrolls. I'm Cathleena Haley. In this episode, I want to further talk about embodiment and coherence. I hear these words a lot now in the collective. They're all over the internet, and people are talking about these methodologies that bring you into embodiment and coherence, breath work, meditations. And not to say that these aren't helpful, they aren't beneficial, they don't have levels of alignment. Absolutely, they do. But most likely, they bring you into a place of quiet and coherence of the mind. So these techniques are really designed to quiet the mind. Quieting the mind is super important. It is a very big step towards embodiment because the entire inversion field is working and designed through the mind, through the mental complex. So quieting the mind is absolutely important. It is an important step towards embodiment. Because what ultimately is embodiment? It is me being me operating from myself, my own operating system. But quieting the mind, coming into a place of coherence within the mind is only a first step. What is beyond that is the body. Imagine the body is a immense receptor of frequency bands, like a radio, and it both receives and sends out all sorts of frequencies, all sorts of messages. And imagine that these messages include what the liver has to say, what the kidneys have to say, what the cells have to say. And all of that story consists of all of the layers and levels of information that you have received over your lifetime from everything, from the quantum field, from the plants, from the things in your space, your home, from your family, from the internet, from all electronics, from anything and everywhere, from the galactics, from the, universal field itself. Everything has been communicating to your body 24/7 since you came into incarnation. And some of what you know. And so if you begin to become aware of your body and you begin to go deeper and you ask questions and why is this? Why is that? And we begin to quiet the body. True, pure embodiment is when my body is quiet, and the quiet is coherence. And what coherence is when every single cell in my physical body is in harmony with the other and with all things outside of it, that's seemingly outside of it, the invisible world. This is what true coherence is. An embodiment is the ability to have you in that operating system coming into a quiet within the body. And so what this means is some of the ways that we don't realize that is the body are things, the conditioning that we have. There's so much conditioning on the planet, some of which we're very aware of, the conditioning of our family and the way that we're told to do things. And so again, through the mind, but through the body is can be quite different. Like imagine how people operate around like a clergyman, for instance. Some may be very opposed to that and they have a reaction. They pull away. Their body pulls away, internally pulls away, their organs pull away. There's a reaction that you may or may not be aware of. Think about like, doctors, for instance. There is a certain frequency on the planet around doctors or around actors or people who have some type of fame or spiritual leaders that seem to be some type of leaders. There is a reaction within the physical body that takes place. And that reaction can have you adjust yourself where you're not fully you. And I'll give you an example. This has happened to me that I've had in my practice before. People that come in, and, particularly, like I said, if it's a doctor or somebody is famous, and early on, when I was not at this level of embodiment, because embodiment is something that occurs. It's not necessarily something that is, I happen to be in full embodiment, but I had embodiment occur over periods of time because that's what happens. And the embodiment is the waking yourself up to what is my operating system? What is happening to me? So the example of me that there would be, it was the same person that came in. It was no different, but the minute that you know who they are, because you can have somebody that you don't even know who they are. They could be a doctor, they could be a clergyman, they could be something, and you don't know. But as soon as you know, something can change in your energy field that you may or may not be aware of. You could realize that something inside, suddenly you are not as free to say what you really want to say. You maybe diminish, or you pump up, or something changes in your energy. It happens women to men. It happens with age. It happens with, people who are considered an authority. And this is the warring game. This is the game that keeps embodiment from happening. And this is the much more subtle. This is the deeper part internally. And then we don't want to feel it, so we justify it and we push it out and we either tell ourselves that that person has is like arrogant or they're creating something or they're not right for me, and then we push away from it. And we don't acknowledge that something occurred inside of me and that I'm responsible for that. No one and nothing can make you feel any way. It's you, but it's noticing. And this is the deeper levels of what embodiment and coherence is. It's being able to come into such a pure place that you speak your truth, yourself, that you don't waver from you. But in that not wavering, you don't push or pull anything else. And this is the difference. If you feel this field of energy that I'm speaking from, I have a conviction of what I know is truth. But there is no push and pull within this field. Not to say that you won't have your own reactions, because what this field consists of, when embodiment is pure and it's coherent, it consists of pure source consciousness, the pure 0 point. That 0 point is everything and nothing at once, which means it is the absolute purest mirror of you to you. So anything that you feel in a coherent field, and especially if an embodied individual is you, there is no greater or less than. There's also this illusion that embodiment makes you superior. No, it actually makes you so normal and so align to another person. It makes you so equal that it makes them so uncomfortable because we're not used to somebody who actually is equal to me. We are always playing the hierarchical game in the inversion field. So embodiment can make another very uncomfortable because it is an organic mirror of themselves. Coming into embodiment means that I've surrendered to anything that could possibly trigger me or identify me in any way that has me less than or greater than anyone else. Because that's what the game is on the planet. And this has been my journey, coming into the world, feeling different, having a lot of intellect. I've been through all stages and recognizing that I was the first flame. And it's interesting because the journey has been me as Cathleena recognizing I was the first flame, embodying the oversoul as the first flame, which I am, until it became so fully embodied that now I am the first flame recognized as Cathleena Haley. And that's a really different energy. I know who I am, and it doesn't make me greater. I'm just first. You're a flame too. And you have your reason for being here. You have what I call your library of information. And when we are brave enough to be honest within ourselves of how I am adjusting myself, and some is really refined. Like I said, you might not even notice how you adjust yourself towards your parents or your partner or your friends, even. There's these subtle little adjustments in our energetic field because we're feeling everything. And when you're no longer adjusting yourself is when you come into embodiment and when coherence occurs. It doesn't mean you won't feel things, you actually feel more. It doesn't mean that you don't move things from your body. You do. It means that you're aware and nothing sticks, so to speak. That's the difference. That's the gift of embodiment. We're still living in a field of energy or around you that has the inversion field. I'm still here on the earth. But the difference is, and this is why embodiment is the key, because without embodiment, you're constantly being bounced around through all the energies because you're feeling it and you have the levels of insecurity or superiority that are constantly wanting to play out. But embodiment releases all of that. And it's not through the mind. You can tell yourself, but it's getting honest. It's a deeper level. This is what I'm here for, and I'm not the only one. And this is what true embodiment is. It's different from what's being spoken. And true coherence is the harmony of your cells to the world, to the plants, to everything in the earth. And the beauty of that, the gift of that, is that your library of information is now fully, cleanly accessible for anything and everything that may need a book or a word or a letter from your library of information, from you. This is how creation works. So when you're embodied and your field is coherent because you're relaxed, basically you are you, your energy's comfortably speaking to everything and anything that can, let's just say, recognize your field, your energy, yourself. And through that, what is the recognition? The recognition is that you're the missing piece to my puzzle. There's a little bit of energy there. And then it comes into coherence. And that's how we are weight showers. Okay. It's not that I stand over here and I'm on my pedestal and I've got all this information and I've got all these techniques and I'm going to go and share them all with you. It's that I'm going to be so embodied that my energy is speaking to yours and that there is a coherence. Now, within this, there are steps towards this. Like I said, the mind is the first piece, quieting the mind. And so through quieting the mind are all kinds of modalities, and there's many out there, which of course, meditation, breath work, all of these types of things. I have lots of activations and things deep into this aspect. And then we go beyond that and we begin to quiet the organs and the body because we love ourselves so deeply. That's what it is. That's the idea. Through love, through desiring truly an authentic experience, is how embodiment occurs and how coherence occurs. And it's why we're here. This is the gift. We give ourselves. We don't give away ourselves, we give of ourselves the energy, the frequency, who we are. And then, yes, we also give ourselves to the energy and the people as we move with them and we hold hands with them and we create with them physically in groups and harmony. And it's natural. Why? Because there's no subliminal underlying speaking, because we are radiating frequencies, and these frequencies from the body are screaming out all the time. And if you wonder why things occur all crazy in the world, it's because there's not honesty about what the messaging, and everybody's sending out these messages. Don't approach me. Don't come near me. Come near me. I'm the one. This the one. Da, da, da. Even though they're sitting there and saying, they can be very eloquently speaking, but you can feel that something isn't organic, something isn't right. And you often feel, you can feel movement. I've been in relationships before that I love animals. And I had at one point a pack of dogs that I loved. And my dogs in my space, on my bed, were everywhere, that I loved them, and on my couches. And by the end of a relationship that I was in with these dogs, I had corralled them. They were no longer on my couch. They were, and I didn't know how that happened, but it was sequential over the subliminal messaging that I was receiving and I was becoming. And by the end of the relationship, I didn't even know who I was. And how many of you can relate to that? So this is the wake up, that we're here. This is next steps. This is what this transmission about. This is what I want to bring today. What true embodiment is and true coherence. I love you and you are loved deeper than you can ever imagine. I'm the first flame of source, Cathleena Haley. Until next time.